Hi, this is Cynthia with simplycynthia.com. Thank you so much for watching. This is my Chicago Marathon recap, and my wonderful husband Zeke's here to help me with some of the questions. So thank you for being here.
No problem. The first question we have is, what motivated you to enter and to complete a marathon?
I watched The Spirit of the Marathon a good 5 years ago, and I just thought I can do this. So that kind of motivated me. It was a documentary about the Chicago Marathon, and they kept saying how flat it was. So I thought, flat, I can totally do that. And that was the reason why I entered, really and truly.
Okay. Have you always been a runner?
No, I've been a runner for 6 years. And of course, we have 3 kids. So I haven't been running the whole time, but it's been a great hobby, and I love it. It's been really good.
Good. Next question is what is the most challenging thing for you in preparing for a marathon?
It's been all the stuff I have to do before lacing up and going outside. Some people say that, and you see those inspirational quotes saying, oh, all you got to do is just lace up and go outside. Not for me. I have our wonderful children to take care of. I have a home to take care of and other responsibilities. So just making sure that life works so that I can go outside and run has been the most challenging part of running. Running is easy for me in a way. Just kind of making sure that life is well taken care of is the most challenging part for me of running a marathon.
Did you have a person to encourage you during the marathon there in Chicago?
Not in Chicago, I didn't. I did have 2 friends there, but we all started in different corrals. And I pretty much ran with strangers, so not a physical person.
Right.
I did have Jesus. We ran together. Yes.
Okay. The next question is how much water did you consume during the actual race?
I would guess a good 34 ounces, maybe more.
Okay.
I believe in drinking to thirst. That's what I learned from Marathon Training Academy. So I'm always drinking, and that's what works for me. Drink to thirst. So I'm guessing it was around 34 ounces, and then afterwards I was really thirsty, so I drank a lot.
Okay. Now we know you did the Houston Marathon back in January. So can you compare the two, the Chicago and the Houston Marathon? Because that's the difference.
Yeah. So I didn't know this until two weeks ago, but Chicago is one of the world major marathons, and there are like 5 or 6 others. Houston is big, but it's not one of the world majors. So you can tell Chicago is one of the world majors because there's a lot of clouds. It is way bigger. Houston is crowded in the beginning, but then when the half and the full split, less people are going to be on the course. Chicago is full the whole time.
And there was like 41,000 people.
Yes, 41,000. So it's way more people on the course, so you have to do a lot of this, especially in the beginning of the marathon. Houston is pretty flat until the end. Chicago is kind of flat. You do go through a few elevations, but nothing major. Chicago's a little bit more windy. I honestly did not feel that much wind this year, except in the beginning it was so cold. It was so cold. But when we started running, it was fine. The expo in Chicago is huge and it's wonderful. And if you want to get swag, money, free stuff or whatever, that's the place to do that. I felt really good because I used the Nike app. And they treat you like royalty, like in the expo. So that was a lot of fun. They gave you free stuff. I signed up for the paid team, and they kind of rewarded you if you used their app. So that was a lot of fun. Those are some of the differences. Houston's organized. Chicago is a new level of organization. When you come in, they scan your stuff. They send you to get your bib. And then I think this is a strategy, but they send you to the back of the expo to get your shirt and your clear bag where you put all your stuff, because the security stuff. And I'm thinking it's just so you can go through all the vendors. But anyway, if you need to exchange a t-shirt, you can do it. You can do it just then and there. It's very organized. It's very festive. You see a lot of people who do this for a living there. You see a lot of Boston people, which maybe I just didn't notice it because when we went to Houston, they were about to close. But I noticed a lot of Boston jackets. So, I mean, there's like, you can kind of feel the clouds about being there. And you can also see that regular people like myself are there as well. So these are some of the differences that I noticed. Both are wonderful races, and I love them both.
Now, how well prepared did you feel for it? Because I know that, you training in Houston heat, being 80 and 90 degrees in the morning when we would go running. And then when you got to Chicago, you called me and you told me it was 50 something degrees. Huge difference. So do you think that the heat prepared you? What are some of the things that helped prepare you for Chicago?
Having a good plan was, I think, the major thing for me as well as preparation. I'm a type A person in a way where I like to do my homework. So I'm thankful for my running group, and I follow that religiously. So I feel like that prepared me. Of course, the weather was totally different. When we started, it was 48 degrees. It got a little bit warmer, but it was better because nobody likes to run in the humidity for fun, unless you're in ultra in the desert. So when I got there, I felt like it was better to run. When it was cooler, it's just easier. Of course, that didn't reflect in my time, and we're going to talk about that later. But I feel like I was prepared because I had a good plan. I feel like I was prepared because I was hydrated. I mean, throughout the whole training, I did my homework. So when I got there, at least I could say, I follow my plan, and I'm going to succeed at this.
One of the other questions was, which was the hardest mile for you? Now, I've heard you say before, the last one that you did, mile 18, was hard. So for Chicago, what was the hardest mile for you?
For Chicago, it was 13, believe it or not.
So a little earlier than before.
It was much earlier.
Yeah.
And what happened was I was following a pace team, and for some reason it just got like emotionally discouraged right at the middle, and I decided I'm just going to let them go, and I'm just going to do my own thing. And that was the hardest. I didn't bonk. Like in Houston, I got discouraged and I bonked at the same time. And then I was like, oh, my friends are gonna, come and rescue me, which they did. Thank you. And I had nobody in Chicago. So anyway, it was 13. It was right at the middle. So I got discouraged. I mean, I didn't want to keep the same pace, but at the same time, like I didn't bonk. Meaning I felt good. I was hydrated. Had a little bit of cramp, but not that big of a deal. I noticed that I was carrying my water in this hand all the time. So when I changed, it was just like, oh, it went away.
Yeah.
So 13 was the most challenging one.
Is there anything different that you would do with your training? Goo, water, I don't know, just speed, anything like that? What would you do differently with your training?
I would actually hire somebody to see what I'm doing and tell me, this is what you need to do in order to reach your goal. So this is marathon number 2. I did modify some things from Houston, believe it or not. One thing that I changed, I do not do as much cardio on my off running days as I did before, because it was like I got kind of the same results as I did now, less pain, less muscle pain. So, I mean, what I would do differently is just hire somebody to just kind of see what I'm doing, how I'm drinking, how I'm eating, and help me to reach my goal.
So would you say that the cross training helped with less tiredness, muscle, spasms, and different
I was
like
doing
that?
spinning and my knees were hurt. So this time around, and my calves too. This time, like I didn't do spinning, so I just didn't have that problem. I do want to cross train, and I do feel like if I'm leaner and stronger, like for me to work on my core, and I need like to have a little bit more invested in this than I do now. Meaning like if I put money in it, I'm gonna do it. So that's what I mean. Like by if I hire a coach or something, I think I would do that differently.
Okay. Well, one of the next questions was, what was your time? And even more important than that, I guess, is like, what was a goal that you had for Chicago? Was it for time, or was it for speed? What exactly was your goal and your time?
Okay.
For Chicago?
So my goal, and I had to look in my blog and see what I was thinking 5 years ago, was to finish the Chicago Marathon. So I did reach my goal.
Right.
I went for a medal, and I got the medal. My time, and I had to look at it today, believe it or not, was 5 hours, 34 minutes, and 52 seconds. It's lower than Houston. But because my goal was to finish, and I felt good, and I think that's what matters. Another thing also that played a role in Chicago, I'm not gonna tell people everything that happened. I was working with a lot more than just weather and running. There was some physical things that happened that I had to deal with on the course, but it was also I didn't want to overdo or put myself in the risk of injury because I was by myself. So I just thought, what can I do in order to enjoy the race, in order to finish it, in order not to injure myself or to end up in a hospital because I was by myself.
That's true.
And then I was walking to the metro. I had to do like a good 2-3 mile walk that day on top of everything that I had
Now,
done.
how early did you have to get up to do the trains and buses and all that stuff to actually get to the starting line?
A good 4 a.m., which was around the same time that
And the
I did
race
for
started at 8?
Yes, I think I started running like at 8:16 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was my time, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not.
You completed your goal.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Now Houston is a whole different matter.
And now you can set another set of goals.
That's true.
And kind of go from there.
But I'm happy with it.
Now, how did you feel once you crossed the finish line? You had completed your goal, a goal that you had set when you were 3 weeks pregnant with our oldest son, who is actually 5 years old now. We actually have footage of you running your first 5K
That's true.
when you were 3 weeks pregnant. So how did you feel once you crossed the finish line?
It was very emotional. I wasn't like bawling because if I think like about you guys or about emotional things, I start hyperventilating and I need to run. So I try like to just think about other things. But I couldn't help but to think, I'm reaching my goal. I wanted to finish this marathon, and I did.
Right.
So it was kind of like an eruption of Thanksgiving inside of me. And it was very surreal because for over 5 years, I've been visualizing this, and it's finally happened. So because of the Boston bombings, there are different security measures that happen. So at the finish line, there was nobody but race personnel, a lot of medical personnel kind of looking you in the eyes to see, are they going to fall out? Are they okay? Okay, just keep going.
Right.
And of course, the photographers. So of course, you're posing. And then after a while, you walk for quite a while, and then you get to the medals. And that was the time that I just started crying because I was just like, I saw this so many times.
Completed it.
I visualized it. So it was amazing it was almost surreal. I shouldn't be surprised, but it was just amazing at how it all started with a vision. It all started with me saying, I can do this.
And this is before you could even probably run a full mile or two without stopping.
That's true.
So
that was awesome.
Right. How many more marathons do you have on your list?
I don't have a list. Because
why not? Everybody has a list.
I do not have a list. Isn't it awful? Okay, we're running Houston in January. So
we as in you.
Yes, but it's a family business.
I'm running a half in February.
And I'm proud of you.
But she's the champ that's running.
I appreciate that. So Houston is coming in January. I'm excited about that.
Right.
And even more excited because I get to train with my friends, so that's always encouraging. I don't have a list. You and I have talked about just fun things to do and
like some other cities we'd like to kind of.
But we don't have a list. Like we've mentioned several marathons, and we've said, it would be fun to run in Vermont. It would be fun to run in LA. It would be fun to run in Rio, but I haven't set dates. I haven't planned anything after Houston. But it's going to happen. I'm not one of those people that are just like, I'm going to do Boston. I'm just kind of letting things happen organically.
It's kind of in the back of your mind.
Way in the back.
Oh, okay. Well, would you do Chicago again? Maybe not next year, but at some point
in the future, like with the right motivation, I guess I would. Okay. It's such a fun race, and it was such a joy to be there. So I enjoy that. Let me talk about the course a little bit. That was one of the questions.
Oh yes.
You do, I think it's 29 neighborhoods. You start and finish at Grant Park. It's mostly pavement, of course, and you go through Chinatown. It's like one of the last ones that you hit, and it was so much fun because I've seen it so many times, like in pictures and videos. So I was like, wow, I'm in Chinatown, and Little Italy, and of course the North Side, and the Loop, and all of that good stuff. One of the things that I did not know until I was there is that you go through quite a few bridges. Some of them are paved, some of them like have
kind
that
of rocky.
that iron kind of thing. I don't know how to describe it. Sorry. But for that part where you have like the iron thing, sometimes they put carpet. I'm not a trail runner. I'm a road pavement, very safe person. So for that part of the course, I had to keep thinking, pay attention to where you're stepping.
Don't fall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a little nerve-wracking there, maybe like 2 or 3 times. But the other times, and I mean, when you're doing curves, sometimes, you have to kind of pay attention because, of some irregularities with the pavement.
Right.
But most of it was super fun. One thing that I did not expect to be true, which was the whole city comes out to encourage you. And right before we completed 1 mile, we're going under this bridge, so it's kind of like a tunnel. And I hear this, woo! I was just like, man, this runner sure is spending a lot of energy with this screaming. And I was like, oh my God, it's the crowd. The crowd was amazing.
So were there pockets of people or like
the whole time?
Oh, wow.
And it was a lot of people too. And it was so much fun because, they are interacting with you. They have the signs, they're high-fiving. And at one point I was like, hey, I can use a high five. And people were kind of helping you out and pushing you. So
good.
the support, it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it.
So what's the next accomplishment? What's the next thing to accomplish for Simply Cincha? As far as marathons are concerned, as far as training is concerned, any of those types of things?
I think it's to do Houston well.
To set a PR or...
For the love of God. I think my buddies are going to be like, are you serious?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I think if I PR Houston, and at this point, this is day 3 after the marathon, so I'm still kind of...
Right. It's kind of like having a baby. You don't want to think about the next child.
You want to just take a break, but I know it's coming.
Right.
And we're about to start building up our miles here with our training. So I want to do Houston well. And I want to have fun. And at the same time, if I can avoid, overuse injuries, if I can avoid bonking, I want to get to know myself better. And I know I can push myself a little bit more. I just want to do it in a good way, in a safe way. So it should do Houston and to do it well.
Okay. Well, we're really proud of you and all
you.
of your accomplishments. Cincha is awesome at what she does. She's the most persistent, tenacious person I've ever met. And to watch you go from, being 3 weeks pregnant with your first child, never have really spent time doing a lot of running, to now this is your second marathon. And, we talked about earlier about having goals, and you had a goal and you completed. I've never known you not to complete your goals. So I'm really interested to see what your other goals that you have set and to watch you accomplish them. So
Thank
very
you.
Good job.
And I'm proud of you.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because you joined the running group and you really persistent.
I did.
You've turned your healthy life around.
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you funding all of this.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We pay for a lot of this stuff. Of course, we have partners. We partner with the Hyatt Regency O'Hare.
Yes, thank you so much.
We partner with
Spirit
of Chicago Entertainment Cruises for this marathon. So that's something that was fun.
Right.
It was a good partnership, and we're definitely open for more. But this right here is my everything. So the dream pretty much came true because of him. So I appreciate it.
You're quite
And another thing too that I don't know if everybody experiences this hobby needs to work for everybody, meaning it has to work for you, it has to work for the kids.
That's true.
Because otherwise, it doesn't make sense for me to do it. So
and it takes a lot of energy from everybody.
It does.
It has to be a high level of dedication on, if you're married, both parties have to be, involved in some way.
That's true, and we also had friends, of course, that helped us and kept the kids the few times that we were able to train together. Mm-hmm. So it took a village.
That's true.
It took a village, but I think we got some good results. If there's anything inside of you that feels like you can run a marathon, I'm living proof. We're living proof that you can do it. It's a good hobby. I would say start small. I took small steps. And they did add up to where we are now. We're not where we want to be, but
we're on our way.
Yeah, we're on our way. And I think you can do it. I just want to encourage you, if you just want to run a 5K, if you just want to run, period, if you want to try a Notra or anything else, small steps, set those goals, have a vision. If you didn't learn anything from my story, just remember that I had a vision and I held on to it. And I took those baby steps that led me to the marathon. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you watching this. And I appreciate you for interviewing me. I appreciate you for sending the questions. If you have any more, I'll be glad to answer them. But thank you for watching. This is Cynthia with simplycynthia.com. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.